Okay, so this is Crestwood Plaza, currently called Crestwood Court, but it's a mall in South St. Louis County, and it's closing today. It's actually been, clinically dead for a while. It's more like they're pulling the plug. I read that it was the first mall in the St. Louis area, built in 1957, but it was an outdoor mall at that time, and I read that it was enclosed in 1984, so I definitely remember going there as a kid. I was born in 81. Seems like I started going there a bit more with the family around 89 or 90. Those are some of my earliest memories of it. I definitely went there all through junior high and high school and college as well when I'd be home. And the first couple of years I started working before it started going downhill. I actually grew up closer to South County Mall, which isn't too far from here, but this was the further mall to go to, but we'd often come out here because it was better at the time until they renovated South County Mall and added to it in around 2000. But this one just had some more stores and had a movie theater out here. I remember going to a couple times in high school. And anyway, actually, here's a memory right here. Is right up those steps is where the original Lens Crafters was here, and I got my first pair of glasses there when I was 9 years old, I believe. And there's actually still a Lens Crafters in the mall. That's going to be the one thing that'll be left open, because I think you can just enter it from the outside. But basically, it started going downhill. I remember it being still pretty good in 2004, because I had an apartment fairly close to here, and I remember coming out here, and malls in general have declined. There's not certain stores anymore, like music stores have pretty much gone out of the malls, and what else? Home video stores. I remember there being a Suncoast out here I would go to, and then like a Sam Goody for the music. And so that's just a general thing where, malls aren't quite as big as they once were. But I think they just renovated some other ones around the area, and this one just gradually started emptying out. I remember, like I said, 2004, it was fine. I remember going in early 2007, and it was still pretty good. I mean, there was some places closing up, and there was just like 2 places left in the food court. But, it was still a place to go to. And then I started hearing about how it had gone downhill, and I was, just sort of heard all these secondhand stories. And I came through in 2010 and was amazed at how little was left. It was pretty sad, actually, walking around and seeing the old stores. And at that time, they actually had it rented out to like some art. It was called Art Space. You can actually see it, maybe, if the sun's not too bright, on there where that's still left over. They would have like some, children's dance groups and art displays, stuff like that. And then they ended up running all that out. And basically, there hasn't been anything really here. And they've just been sort of paying to keep the lights on and the AC on and the radio playing. So it was actually a pretty nice place for mall walkers, pretty wide open. And when I started walking a few months ago, I came back through here, and on days when it would be raining, and did it. And like I said, even all that art space stuff was gone, and there was places that the roof was leaking, and they had that roped off, and you knew that the time was coming, and it has. So anyway, I'd like to just take one last walk through, see what's left, and share some memories that I had here. Let's go ahead and go inside. Oh yeah, look at that. That whole section's closed off, can't even get in there. But you can see some of the, down there it says To The Point Studio of Dance. So that was once one of the art space places. That place there that says St. Louis Workout, the yellow sign, I remember that was a software, etc. I definitely remember going in there and looking at some video games, buying some stuff probably. This place right here, I remember it was a place called Shifty's. They had a lot of alternative, like skateboarding style stuff, and I don't remember buying much there other than some weird, like, drinks they had, you know, like soda kind of stuff. Let's see, what else? Look at that, back there you can actually see a Claire's Boutique, which I remember my sister would. Let's see if we can get the sign in there. Yeah, you can probably see it right through there. My sister, remember, would go there and get some earrings, stuff like that. Pasta House Company, this was here fairly recently. Well, maybe not. I remember coming here in 2004, and that was 9 years ago now, but I remember coming here with a friend, Lucas, after I got out of college. We ate there, and like I said, the mall was still doing all right at that time. You can read that sign. It says it was a K Jewelers. This is actually a funny spot right there, that exit, because that area that's caged off that I was just pointing to, I remember this was in 1998. It was August 1998, and it was actually the day that Korn's Follow the Leader album came out, because my brother and I went to the Best Buy that's right across the street to buy that album, and we came in here. It was pretty early in the day, and we actually saw John Goodman walking around. He was buying a shirt from like a big and tall store and heading out and walking fast because, you know, the mall hadn't gotten busy yet. And my brother just tapped me on the shoulder and said, "John Goodman." And I actually followed him to that door out there and said hi to him. And it was like about the time Big Lebowski was out. I mean, I think it came out in March of that year, so it had been out a few months, but I remember seeing a commercial for it, probably for home video soon afterwards. It's hard to remember what some of these stores were. There was a Victoria's Secret, you can see. This would have been a Mrs. Fields Cookies, I believe. Right there you can see that was the Hellsberg Diamonds and Curlin's Hallmark Shop. They still got display with shopping bags right there. Yep, still got the lights on. No music playing today. Here in the last hour that they're open. There you go, Food Terrace. That was the way down to the food court. I remember right down there they had a Baskin Robbins, you know, McDonald's, and some of your other typical food places. And that's where the arcade was, Tilt. This place right here, I remember going there. My friend Chris got married summer of 2002. Yeah, summer 2002. And this was where I went to get a tux for the wedding. I was his best man. This was a restaurant called Hula Hands, I remember. Can't really read that. It might have been something after that. Looks like it was. This here, I remember, was a Babbage's at one point, and later a GameStop probably. I remember buying some games there. Looking at PC games a lot, especially even before I had a PC. Later buying some old Nintendo games when they were, like Funko. Maybe it was a Funko Land, because I remember they would always sell the old NES games. Around the late 90s or so. I know this was the Disney store. You can actually see over here. Must have closed up around Christmas time because it says Holiday Cheers and has Mickey and Minnie Mouse and Pluto, it looks like. It's kind of sad, just like capturing that moment in time that, where the store was at that point. Here was a Foot Locker. There's another way down to the food court. It's hard to remember, but somewhere around this part was a video store, Suncoast, I remember loving to go to, and looking through VHS tapes and memorabilia. I remember they always had cool, like, toys and stuffed, toys and posters, stuff like that. Yeah, see that Happy New Year, whatever this place was. So around the holidays of the year when everything moved out. The icing accessories, ear piercing. Remember, this was a Sears. That's the other thing. Like, I think some of the first places to go were the big department stores, Sears and Macy's, stuff like that. This was Trade Secret. Remember, that was a St. Louis bread company up there, which is known as Panera Bread in most of the country. And there's the Lens Crafters I mentioned that's going to stay open. Maybe this will just all be chained off and you can just go in that way. That's it. That's the end of the mall. So I'll just walk back that other way. The area that's chained off, some other places I can think of, there was a movie theater, which I remember going to a couple times in high school in the 90s. For some reason I remember seeing National Lampoon's Vegas Vacation there, as well as the movie Eddie, which is the basketball movie with Whoopi Goldberg. I don't know, it was probably just like going to the movie with friends, and it was like, oh, there's something we can see. Because I don't remember, obviously, thinking, hey, let's go see that. I think that's about all. I'm just sort of saying all this off the cuff. But, those are the stories I wanted to tell you guys. I remember there was a dollar store back there that I remember buying a Mario pencil. It was a pencil that had a Mario at the top and sliding down the flagpole. It's really hot in here too. I'm sweating and breathing heavy because they've already turned off the air conditioning too. Anyway, probably not much else to say except I'm sad to see it go. Even though it's pretty much gone a while back. But it was definitely a big part of my life growing up. So, this is the end of Crestwood Plaza. And goodbye, my friend.